Hello, this is Robert DeGaramore, and this is being recorded for History 711, the development of Western freedoms. This week, our discussion is the definitions of liberty and freedom and how they have diverged over the years. Um, Actually, kind of a difficult topic for me to get involved in. Um, my I've always had just a premonition of what the definitions are of liberty for myself, and then freedom, and then now taking them away and looking at different aspects of it through different authors is actually just kind of throwing a monkey wrench, which is actually a good thing because it's asking me to develop my own thesis on what's a good definition, and it's also pushing me toward expanding my knowledge and views in this. To be honest, most of my thinking and ideological stance comes from Rufus Spears. Here's Rufus Spears. He published a history of freedom uh, course in which he just goes through and gives Aristotelian definitions of freedom all the way up to contemporary freedoms. And so when we go back and look at myopic time periods and see the chronological growth or divergence of the idea of liberty or freedom, um, it kind of put a monkey wrench in a lot of the thoughts that I've had so far on the subjects. This week, I decided to go with several authors that we were exposed to. In this point, I'm going to introduce them. Alexander Rosenblum. This was last week. Reflections on ancient and modern freedom. And what he's saying is there's a Greek ideology and then there's a contemporary ideology, and between the two now shall meet. Um, Kind of an interesting concepts that he has as far as some of the Greek words, and then it's lost in translation, and then this translation is redefined in an English, which is the same thing that Daniel Hannan, also in our Module 1 reading, suggests. This guy, Daniel Hannan, I got the book right here. He's got some interesting premise too. One of the things that I like about his ideas is that he looks at the Anglosphere, which is now a new word in my vocabulary, my vernacular. Um, he does all of this book from the perspective of Peruvian, which is Spanish, and he's basically suggesting, yeah, the world has evolved into this new liberty and freedom ideologies via the Anglosphere. Anything that was in contact with basically English common law, which is something I'd never heard of before. So I'm just like, wow, okay. And then there's another guy named Matthew Spalding that I had actually read his book about 10 years ago. And he's taking it from a founding father's perspective. His book is called We Still Hold These Truths, Rediscovering Our Principles and Reclaiming Our Future. And he has a whole new, unique set of vernacular for freedom and liberty and how the forefathers' interpretation of these words were utilized to write the Constitution and the Declaration. So there we have that in a nutshell. The last one I want to touch on would be Mariah Walsh, Aristotle Conception of Freedom. This was also something that came from Module 1 in our readings. How the Greeks had these their interpretations as well. Slavery versus free man, citizen versus slave, and those type of really specific defining attributes of one word or the other word. So it's definitely been an eye opener. The problem with this is it's basically a can of worms. It's huge. It's going to take a while to untangle this one, and unfortunately I only have like 6 more weeks to do it. Anyway, always enjoy. It's a pleasure to expound your knowledge a little bit, and I hope that through our discussions this week, learn something new. Thank you.